That's awful.
This is following the template that I used last month, and we're going to look at some updated information that we have as we've gotten in a little deeper with the state budget and then the recommended cuts to this point. Information that is new or has been revised is in bold. And under charter reimbursement, last month I had the figure of $375. It's actually $357,000 in charter reimbursement that we've lost. Social Security reimbursement, we had estimated that loss to be about $45,000, but as Jim got further into the calculations, it's closer to $83,000. And then finally, the dual enrollment grant, that was also eliminated from the state budget, and that amount was $6,700. So to date, our net loss, as the proposed state budget provides, is a little over $570,000. Now, Jim is going to provide a chart regarding the basic ed funding, because in actuality, with the loss of SFSA, that figure really is significantly higher, as much as $500,000, Jim, am I right? And he'll provide that to you a little later. And so what we were looking at is a deficit of a little over $3.4 million. Now, as we get into the recommended budgetary cuts, you'll see bold print continuing. If the amount is in bold, that means that that amount had changed from last month. And if the entire line is bold, that means that that is a new cut. As an example, all of these recommended cuts were proposed last month, but the actual figure of the initial salary and benefit costs would be $551,000. I can't remember what it was last month, but it was a little different than that. And now you can see where we're getting into some additional recommendations beyond last month. Beginning with the elimination of one art teacher. Last month we proposed an elimination of one special educator. We're now proposing the elimination of an additional special educator from Ligonier Middle School. Postponing the social studies text adoption for grades 9 through 12. Reducing custodial supplies by $10,000. Last month we had reduced the number of intramural hours to 200 at both Ligonier High and Ligonier Middle School. This proposal brings an elimination of all intramurals at both Ligonier High and Ligonier Middle School for an additional savings of $7,280. We are recommending the elimination of school-based athletic physicals. We provide physicals for students at the school. They have the option of having a physician of their choice conduct their athletic physicals. If that doesn't occur, then we provide them here at school. And that cost is actually about $20, I think it was $20.75 per physical. We would eliminate the availability of those school-based physicals for the amount of $6,000. In addition to that, we are not under an obligation as a school district to provide athletic insurance, and so we are recommending the elimination of sports insurance. That cost is about $16,000. Now what that would mean is that for students to participate in athletics, they would need to have insurance through their parents. Right now, Jim, I think it still goes to the parents' insurance initially. The sports and athletic insurance is a backup to that. Eliminating the federal program's literacy coach position. Eliminating the district newsletter, the public relations supplemental positions, and the public information resource, which is a document that is provided to each of the buildings. That's 8445. And then eliminating our use of PA Educator. PA Educator is a web-based tool that we use to advertise or post any teaching vacancies that we have. And we would propose the elimination of that tool in the amount of $2,500. Most of these were proposed at last month's meeting. There are just some updates to the figures as we're able to identify the actual employees who would be affected. And last month we also had a decrease in the technology budget of $65,000. We've been able to revisit that, and we will be recommending a cut to equipment, software, hardware, etc., to the amount of $118,000. Last month there was some questions regarding projected class sizes with the reduction of elementary staff. And so this slide demonstrates to you the reduction of staff based upon the enrollment, the projected attendance in each of those, enrollment in each of those grade levels, and then the subsequent class sizes for each of the grade levels. At LVE, we are recommending that there be 13 classrooms available next year, 2 at each of the grade levels, with the exception of grade 4 having 3. And you can see the corresponding decrease from this year. We would be reducing by 1 first grade teacher, 1 second grade teacher, 2 third grade teachers, actually bumping up the 4th grade for an additional 4th because that's a little bubble group, and then the reduction of 1 teacher in 5th grade, and that would then be a reduction of 4 teachers at LVE. But as I had stated last month, the K3 classrooms are still 20 or fewer, and then 4th grade would be the largest with 22 and 23. Likewise, at Mellon, we would be proposing 23 classrooms, and I'm not going to read all of those numbers to you, but we would be recommending the reduction of 1 third grade teacher and still maintaining in the low 20s for class size. And then at the bottom, you'll see Ligonier Middle School, and that's where we were reducing by 1 science, 1 social studies, and 1 language arts position. And these would be average class sizes for 6, 7, 8, but please understand that because students are in honor programs, etc., sometimes they do fluctuate from that average. And so we might end up having a class of 25 or 26 or 27 in an honors class in a situation where we are providing inclusive education with special needs students. Those classes tend to be a little bit smaller.